Now then, beating the benefit cheats idea number, I don't know, 999. How about this one? Benefit cheats could be banned from driving for 2 years, the government will be saying today. They hope that will save the taxpayer 300 million quid a year.
But as the government seeks to overhaul the welfare system, one charity says there are huge concerns among people on disability benefits that they could be targeted next. Well, last week, we asked the Treasury Minister, Darren Jones, if any changes to personal independence payments are on the table. A lot of people got in touch to say, what about those of us on benefits, particularly personal independence payments, the disability benefit? Is that within your line of sight, either changing the rules for eligibility or a cut?
So on welfare, the welfare bill, our key premise is that for people who can work, we want to support them to get back to work. Where people have long-term disabilities and challenges, the PIP system will continue to be in place and will continue to support people.
Well, let's speak now to two people who both receive PIP and are worried it's going to be taken away. Yolanda Barker has multiple sclerosis and has had disability benefits for 18 years. And the broadcaster and disability campaigner Sam Renke, who uses a wheelchair and relies on PIP. Very good morning to both of you. Yolanda, last week the Daily Express reported that Downing Street and Treasury insiders believed that PIP payments could be in the firing line. When you heard Darren Jones there, did you feel reassured?
No.
No?
Not at all, no.
He didn't seem to rule it out.
No, they never do, and it's a real problem for us because we rely on this benefit to help us live, basically. It gives us some kind of quality of life that we wouldn't have otherwise.
Explain for people what this personal independence payment does for you, what it pays for, how much you rely on it.
OK, I've got... it comes in two parts, so you have a daily living part and a mobility part. And the mobility part, for me, I use to pay for a car through the Motability charity, which absolutely rely on. It means I've got a hoist in a decent-sized car that's reliable. You've got breakdown cover covered with it, so you know how much money's going to it directly. The daily living part helps me pay for things like I have a sports massage that I need to have done to try and sort of undo my muscles, which isn't available on the NHS. Physiotherapy didn't do it. This does. So I have to pay for that. And there's all sorts of other things around the house. So
you get £276 a month plus the mobility part.
It's around that, yes.
Yeah. If you didn't have it, what would happen? Or if it was cut, what would happen?
If it was cut, it would stop me doing the good things that I do, as well as just the negative, just as well as just living.
Right.
It would do that. I do quite a lot of volunteering stuff. I help people with disabilities, I help in the community, and I try and help where I can.
So it enables you to do more than just...
Absolutely.
Kind of
it's a whole thing. I want to give back. I don't want to just be someone that's taking all the time, because you get the impression when you're doing, like we've had on earlier, it was about people, the criminals taking activity. And actually, it's a very, very small percentage of people that are...
Oh, the benefits cheats.
The benefit cheats.
Well,
I think it's less than 1%.
Let's come to you, Sam. All right, same question to you, really. How would it affect your daily life if PIP were to go completely?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking a lot about what I wanted to talk to you today, how, PIP is essentially to, combat that shortfall, because disability costs on average, according to the charity Scope, £1,000 extra a month. What does that look like? The wheelchair I'm sat in at the moment costs £4,500. My power wheelchair costs £10,000. As soon as you turn 18, you don't really get any help. You have to, either approach charities or fund that yourself. I have to get my clothes altered. Did you know that actually there are more clothing lines for dogs and cats than there are for disabled people? I recently moved from London to Lancashire, and not one of my local taxi firms has an accessible vehicle. So again, my PIP essentially allows me to have a quote-unquote, a normal life. But then I thought, why are we still in 2025 having disabled people come on television, to kind of justify wanting the same rights, wanting the same basic human rights as our non-disabled peers? It's always used, I feel, by the government as a bit of a scapegoat. Disabled people are constantly used as scapegoats to actually, detract from the bigger issue, and that is the world is not, made for us. We live in a disabling world. Yeah. The current government and its predecessors have never invested in actually transforming our places and spaces to be more equitable so that disabled people like me can get out into the community, go to work if we can, and be, as Yolanda said, valued members of society. The PIP payment is a small amount of money that actually goes straight into our account and goes straight out because we have to pay for so many extra resources.
And what's your reading? What's your personal reading of the mood music on this? How large is the risk, do you think, that it's either going to be cut or stopped?
I mean, honestly, every time I get a brown letter through my front door, and I'm sure every single deaf, disabled and neurodivergent individual who's listening today, our heart stops. If I don't get PIP, then that means I won't be able to go to work. That means that I won't be able to pay for my support assistant. It has such a domino effect. Yet, society still likes to, have disabled people as objects of inspiration. Aren't you inspirational for doing X, Y, and Z? But in the same breath, we're demonised. We're called benefit scroungers. Disabled people just want to live their lives how they see fit, instead of being constantly polarised into these two categories of either benefit scroungers, a drain on society, or, objects of inspiration. So people can look at them or objectify them and go, gosh, aren't they a trooper for getting on? Because your life must be difficult. Well, actually, if you think that our life must be difficult, then why don't you become an ally? Why don't you fight, and highlight to the government that taking benefits away from disabled people is not going to benefit the wider society? Everyone will become disabled at one point in their life. We have an ageing population. That means that everybody, unless your life is, taken very abruptly, we're all going to get older. We need to start creating more inclusive places, buildings, housing. I believe less than 10% of UK houses meet any form of access needs. Yeah. Yes, the government is pushing...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sam. It's only that we're...
No, that's fine.
We're going to... I mean, what you said... it's very well said, what you said. What I want to know, just before we end the interview...
Yes.
What do you want to hear this morning from the government minister? Because I put this to Rachel Reeves' deputy Darren Jones last week. He did not rule out cuts. So what do you want to hear specifically from the minister this morning that would mean you're not worried, and Yolanda, you're not worried the next time that brown envelope comes through the door?
I guess that our government doesn't see us as a drain and a burden. And instead of actually making us feel like we're living on eggshells, actually invest in us rather than, of us constantly living in the fear of things being taken away. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Come and engage with disabled people. Work with us because we know how to make things work. Engage with us. That's it. That's all we ask for.
All right, well, stay watching because we will be talking to the minister in question at about 8:30, and we will put those points from both of you to them.
Meanwhile, a spokesperson for the Department for Work and Pensions told us the current benefit system needs reform so it is fairer on the taxpayer. They say their reforms will include a proper plan to help disabled people who can work to secure employment while ensuring support is provided for those who need it. Briefly, Yolanda, do you need help finding work?
I'm trying. It did bring to me that I needed to try and see whether I can work. I'm trying to study at the moment. It's really hard. Yeah. I've got a lot going on and I'm not sure that it's going to be possible, and certainly not full-time.
All right. Well, like I say, we'll put all those points to the minister in about an hour's time.
Thank you so much.